This is the call to order, City of Southfield regular meeting of the Planning Commission. The day is August 26th. The time is 6:30, and we are at Council Chambers at 26,000 Evergreen. With that, I would like to start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we have a roll call.
Commissioner Bernuti?
Present.
Commissioner Goodwin-Dye?
Present.
Commissioner Griffiths?
Here.
Commissioner Gruber is excused. Commissioner Martin?
Present.
Commissioner Dr. Stevens-Gunn?
Present.
Commissioner Willis?
I am here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we have a motion for approval of agenda?
To the chair,
Commissioner Martin.
motion to approve the August 26th regular meeting agenda as provided.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's been a motion and approved by Commissioner Martin and supported by Commissioner Bernuti. Thank you. Next item would be announcements and communications. Mr. Pazon?
We do not have any at this time, sir.
Mr. Crow, do you have any? No. Okay. I would like to take a privilege to make an announcement. And the one thing I would have to say is I've served on this body for a period in excess of 10 years. And I've had the pleasure of meeting some really solid, really good people as commissioners. And one of the people I've had an opportunity to meet 10 years ago was a commissioner by the name of Carol Foster Peoples. Carol served, I understand, for a number of years. She left commission because of personal health and promised to come back on it. And obviously she was not able to. So with this, I'm acknowledging the fact that she passed away. Her family hours today, her funeral is tomorrow. And I think we need to acknowledge her contributions to this city and for such a outstanding person. I'm going to miss her, and with that, I have nothing else to say about it.
Yeah, if I could just add,
Yes.
I looked up her years of service on the Planning Commission. She started in 2003, and then she retired for health reasons in 2017, so she served for 14 years. I started in August of 2010, just celebrated 16 years here this weekend, but Carol was one of the original Planning Commission members that was serving when I took over the position, so she'll be deeply missed.
Thank you so much. And let me again take a license. I saw a posting that you had 16 years service now.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the 16 years, and thank you.
Yeah, and I will share, coincidentally, it was my 40th wedding anniversary. I happened to get sworn in on the same day that we celebrated our anniversary, and we're looking forward to going to England and Ireland to celebrate in a couple of weeks. So it's a big milestone, and thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations. With that, we can start. Mr. Pazon, PCZR 26-0004, conditional rezoning from Contour.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a conditional rezoning request of the Contour Companies for the Northland, what is commonly known as the Northland Towers site. It is actually made up of 4 parcels. That's why we've got 4 addresses and 4 parcel numbers. It is currently zoned RS, regional shopping, and they are looking to rezone to a combination of regional shopping and B3 general business. We'll get into that a little bit more detail. Here we can see this current zoning is regional shopping. It's part of the downtown overlay district. And then you've got the future land uses downtown development district, so that's all consistent. Site aerial, just kind of showing the Northland site as a whole. Then your Northland Tower site is that white area at the bottom there, closer to 8 Mile. You can see the Costco Business Center just above it, across Northland Drive to the left. This is the Northland Tower site as it appears now, looking at it southeast from Northland Drive and southwest from Northland Drive. You get those two towers that are attached by like a walkway between them on the first floor, and then a couple of other buildings further south. To clarify, the applicant did provide us some color-coded maps so a little easier to read. This is a proposed zoning, so the light blue is the RS zoning to remain, which is the one building that's the northwest corner of the site, it's not really a square site, but the dark blue is the B3, that's what's being rezoned. So that's the Greenfield frontage and then down along 8 Mile. So this definitely a much clearer read on this one than it did previous time. Now we have the proposed demo plan. This actually helps clarify too. The blue area with the orange footprint, that is the building and site area to remain. The remainder of the site in gray is all going to be demolished and redeveloped. So that is really makes it clear that like the other three buildings are going. There's a parking garage also in there, and then the actual surface parking lots are all going to be redeveloped. This is the conceptual part of the construction development plan. This shows the light blue in the top, or the lighter blue in the top left is the existing building to remain. Then you've got the proposed outlots. The top right is your Costco fuel station. Then you've got the green there, which is, they're not really sure 100%. They've talked about maybe a multi-tenant little retail building. Hard to say at this point. Then they've got a proposed restaurant with a drive-through, and then they've got a car wash. And then the purple on the bottom of 8 Mile is another proposed outlot. One idea that's been thrown around is potentially another hotel, but it's not, signed, and there's no dealing done any of that yet. So but those are gives you the arrangement of like how the site's going to be more or less laid out in the future. They do have a conceptual site plan, development plan just kind of shows some of the footprints, the landscaping, the interior drive network, similar to the last one, but a little more detail. And they're going to carry over the Northland Shopping Center language around the perimeter with brick piers and walls at the corner and the fencing and the landscaping and the benches. The petitioner is present. If you'd please come forward and introduce yourself.
And if I may, if you can introduce yourself and give us your working address.
Good evening. My name is Mike Kennedy. I'm a Vice President of Development at Contour Development, and my address is 4950 Woodward Avenue, Suite 300, Bloomfield Hills.
Thank you. And if there's anything you want to add to that to make sure we have as clear a picture as possible?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for having us this evening. A little bit of history on the site is Contour obviously is developing the Northland Mall across the street, and this they thought would be a nice continuation of that parcel. As Mr. Paisan had explained, they are going to carry the landscaping throughout, and this would be some of the retail that would contribute toward the residents that will live at Northland. And Contour had purchased this property in December of last year. In that timeline, they had identified this as a property that was kind of going into decay. Vacancy was increasing quite a bit. There's substantial capital improvements that need to be put in the property. That's why that property owner, and actually that property owner, the previous owner, had stopped putting capital money into it, so that you'll see fences that are down. The windows are really in need of repair. Actually, they should be replaced. A lot of mechanical systems are bad. So after analyzing and studying the building, Contour had decided that 3 of the buildings could be demolished and consolidate the tenants that wanted to remain into one tower, which is the West Tower. And with that, though, they will spruce up that building. They'll put in capital contribution to that. They actually just paved the parking lot a couple weeks ago. And then, the mechanical systems and even the windows are being discussed about adding new ones to it. So with that, I'd like to read a statement of justification for that, for this rezone. From regional shopping center to general business, it's necessary to preserve the substantial property rights, protect public welfare, and support the surrounding community. The preservation and enjoyment of substantial property rights. The current regional shopping center zoning restricts the subject parcel from achieving its highest and best economic use under modern economic conditions. Located at the key intersection of Greenfield, Northland Drive, and 8 Mile Road, the property is severely burdened by 3 functionally obsolete towers suffering from major structural components and a detrimental shift in market demand for office space. Forcing this parcel to remain under its current configuration deprives the owner of practical property rights, as the local office market is heavily saturated with vacant, underperforming space. Transitioning the parcel from general business to conditional rezoning allows for a viable, market-driven redevelopment plan. We have secured agreements from established retailers, one of which is here this evening, Costco, demonstrating an immediate demand for retail services at this highly visible location. The requested change restores the property's utility by transforming a non-performing asset into a vibrant commercial hub that aligns with actual economic realities and complement Northland City Center. Demolishing 298,000 square feet of vacant, decaying office space will eliminate a massive physical blight and dramatically improve community aesthetics along the Greenfield corridor. Removing 300,000 square feet of obsolete square footage directly reduces the city's vacant office inventory, stabilizing and supporting the property values of remaining viable office buildings in Southfield. The transition to active national retailers will inject private investment into the site, creating immediate construction jobs and long-term retail employment opportunities for local residents to add to the tax base. We feel that this is not a detrimental value to surrounding properties, and that it's compatible with the Greenfield 8 Mile Road intersection, as it's a high-capacity commercial thoroughfare designed to handle regional vehicular traffic. The retail transition will utilize the existing infrastructure footprint without placing an undue burden on city services. The general business district strictly prohibits open outdoor storage of goods and materials, ensuring a clean, upscale operation standard. Additionally, we have added more restrictions with our proposed conditional agreement that we submitted with our application. The conditional rezoning mechanism maintains strict city oversight. The required site plan review process ensures appropriate setbacks, meticulous landscaping, and architectural buffers to seamlessly shield and blend with adjacent parcels. Replacing this massive deteriorating office complex with a highly visible, modern national retail brand will enhance the local synergy, drive positive consumer foot traffic, and uplift neighboring property values. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you.
Actually, we should probably go ahead and call the public hearing. Before we do that, when I went over the rezoning slide, I forgot to mention the prohibited uses. They were on the slide as shown here. Just to note, the prohibited uses, the conditions of the rezoning, prohibiting marijuana establishments of any kind, pawn shops, homeless shelters, transitional housing facilities, sexually oriented businesses, soup kitchens, food distribution centers, and smoking or hookah lounges. But yeah,
Thank you. Rather than questions, I think this would be an opportunity for public comment.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask if anyone from the public they would like to, you could see. And this would be the opportunity for anyone in the public who would like to address the issue that's before us. Seeing no persons,
Through the chair, Ms. Malone, as a DDA director, did you want to make a comment?
Hello, I'm Molly Lalone, the Executive Director for the Southfield Downtown Development Authority. This property was presented to the DDA board. They did agree that this does fit into our plan. In particular, the landscaping continuing down to the corner entrance of our district and our city is important. The lighting project under the 8 Mile underpass will be right across the street from this property, so the improvements here will reflect well when everybody comes, when that lighting project happens. Whatever's around it is going to be noticed. So this is an important piece of property, and we're happy about the improvements. We do want to make sure that the developers of the individual properties, the individual sites, are considering placemaking and walkability when they are designing, but that's not what we're reviewing here. So thank you.
thank you. Seeing no one else, the public comment section is closed. Okay, join us again. This will be an opportunity for commissioners. Any questions? I'm going to start with Commissioner Gunn.
Good evening. First of all, I thank Costco for investing in our community. We really appreciate that. To the developer, my concerns remain with the two parcels that are not part of this project, and I realize what we're talking about, the parcels that are up for conditional rezoning. Given the status of where your other developments are, my concern is that I don't want the rezoning and Costco to come through and do all of what they're doing, and those other two parcels continue to disintegrate. So I realize, I understand that that's not what we're talking about, but that's my concern.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin.
At this particular time, I have no questions.
Commissioner Griffiths.
Appreciate all the color coding you've added to these site plans. This makes us a lot easier to understand. I understand this is kind of a step one, so if this gets approved, you can open up real conversations with potential tenants and move these developments forward. I'm completely in favor of rezoning for that reason. Just, you can't look at a bunch of giant office buildings and say, just imagine they're not there. Like, we'll build your building here tomorrow, we're gonna start. So this is a good, important step. Get the rezoning changed, allows more tenants. I think what's also important is this is not in the Northland Master Plan Overlay Development District, whatever the proper word is. But it's gonna complement it. Like, these uses will serve the occupants, and the occupants can use these uses, and somebody's gotta go first. And you're like, who's gonna live there if there's nowhere to eat, shop, get gas, groceries, whatever? Who's gonna, wanna live there if you can't, and vice versa. Like, they all have to work together to have a successful development at something as big as that Northland reimagination project. So from a rezoning point of view, I like how you're at least keeping one of the office buildings and reconsolidating, putting money into it. We've heard for, 15 years I've been here, there's too much office in the city of Southfield, and that's definitely shifted around, and the small offices seem to be doing pretty well around here, but the large towers have been vacant, or largely vacant. So I think all these things are a good reason to vote for this rezoning and open up the development opportunities that follow after.
Thank you. Commissioner Bernuti.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you also for the additional information that you read. That was very informative as well. And you mentioned the word imagine. I am so in favor of this because I was around when Northland was first built. So I am in favor of it and appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Commissioner Goodwin-Dunn.
I'm happy that you're investing here too, and I'm really excited about the Costco. Okay, I'm driving forever to get gas, and I'm ready for one to be right here in Southfield. But I do have a question. What type of businesses would be, are you looking at to put into these spaces?
Sure. Some of them are national tenants, and I'm limited in what I can disclose. However, since Costco is the applicant today, I can disclose that. We are talking to a national fast food chain for the green proposed outlot. The parcel's a little large for them, so they may have some attached retail. Culver's is the yellow proposed outlot, and El Car Wash is the brown car wash site. We do not have anyone identified with certainty for the proposed outlot. However, we are talking to people. As we had discussed, some hotels have been approached. They're analyzing the market still. We've approached some restaurants, and they're kind of want to see how everything else is going and who lines up, and they'll kind of watch how the development comes together before they agree.
Okay.
And also, if I can clarify, these are not tenants. These would be purchasers, so everyone will purchase their own pad and develop it and pay for it. So with national retailers, they usually move pretty fast.
It would be really, really nice if we got some high-end restaurants in the neighborhood. And I was thinking this morning, too, as I was driving to go see my granddaughter, first day of school, middle school, that I was driving and I did not see a coffee shop anywhere. I'm going towards Evergreen, going out to 8 Mile. And I could not find a coffee shop. We don't have any spaces where people can just gather and have conversations and, just going to give an example of Berkeley. They have Mother Handsome, and they have music there sometimes. They have pizza, they do have liquor license too, but that isn't necessary. But they also have coffee and stuff like that. And it's a really nice space to gather. And I'm wondering if you might be able to, look at some people that might want to do something like that as well. Because it would be nice to have some nice coffee shops here in Southfield.
Sure. So again, we're selling the parcels, so
Yes.
they'd have to propose to buy it. However, the retailer that we're talking to for the green outlot will have additional retail space, and that would be a good fit for them.
Okay. My question.
Through the chair.
Commissioner?
Just for point of clarification, I want to make sure that we and the public understand that Costco has committed to the proposed gas station area on the conceptual redevelopment plan area. The other plots that we're looking at still belong to, what is it, Contour?
Correct.
Okay, so, and those have not been sold. You're in the process of seeking, or in the process of selling those particular parcels, is that correct?
With a clarification, so Costco does not own the parcel yet. They haven't closed on it.
Okay,
We, as the developer, have some requirements to do, such as rezone it, entitle it. We have to demolish the buildings. We have to prepare the site. So there is some steps we have to do before they will own it.
okay, but they are interested.
Very interested. In fact, we're 2 paragraphs away from signing a contract.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that we all understood that.
Commissioner Martin?
I initially didn't have any questions, but in looking at the development that you have planned right now, consolidating tenants into one building, are the tenants in the other buildings aware that they're going to have to vacate? And are they being kept apprised of what's going on as things develop?
Yes, absolutely. So the Plaza building, which is the southernmost tower, it's the tallest at 11 stories. There's only 2 tenants left. One of them is relocating into the West Tower. It's called Flourish Research. Actually, there is a hair salon that's relocating also to the West Tower. The medical building is the next one in the middle. It's a red brick building. There's probably 15 tenants left. The radiology tenant is the largest, and they want also to relocate to the West Tower. We're going to actually come before the Planning Commission because they need a structure to house their MRI machine. So that'll be a different discussion. But most of those tenants, and all the tenants are aware. And then the East Tower, there's a handful of tenants left, maybe 6 or 7. 2 or 3 of them are relocating, but everyone's been notified, and we have agreements with most of them.
Are there agreements for the medical tenants in the, I forget the address of the building, 20950, I think it is?
Yeah, the medical
Greenfield.
building, there are some tenants, some doctors are relocating. Some have chosen to retire, some have decided to not relocate. I mean, everyone has their own story for what they want to do.
Okay, the question I have really is the current owner or the owner that you're buying the property from aware that they're still responsible for the building? Have tenants complaining about no air conditioning or heat and things like elevators not working, even because of the process?
Sure, so Contour does own the building now, the buildings, I should say, and we get notified by tenants when there's no air conditioning. And part of that is the previous owner didn't invest in the mechanical equipment.
Yeah.
So it's real hard to heat or cool from the winter. A 100,000 square foot building for one tenant, you don't want to put $1 million system in for one tenant.
And the elevators too.
And the elevators, and they're working back and forth on that. I hear about that occasionally. But no, everyone's aware of it, especially the owner, and that's why we're anxious to get the project moving.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, any further questions? Planner Crowe? Yeah.
So you mentioned that the office buildings are functionally obsolete. Have you had a level 4 assessor make that determination?
They have had, I think it's called appraiser. I'm not sure. I wasn't involved in that. But part of the plan is to apply for a brownfield redevelopment.
Okay, that was my follow-up question. Have you been in discussion with
Yes.
Ms. Freeman about brownfield?
Yeah, my counterpart is in the process of working
Okay.
on that.
Yeah, once you start saying functionally obsolete, that triggers possible brownfield funds for the demolition, environmental cleanup, and assessment.
Commissioners, again, any further questions? If not, we're looking for a motion.
Recommendation.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we're listening for a recommendation.
Yep. Yeah, we do recommend a favorable recommendation to the city council of the conditional rezoning request. We are looking at it as consistent with the Southfield Comprehensive Master Plan, for indicates Downtown Development Authority District. The B3 is a compatible zoning. We do have a couple of recommended conditions. Obviously, the one we usually have is the execution and recording of the conditional zoning agreement subject to review and approval by the city attorney within 6 months of enactment of the rezoning. We started adding this just because we didn't want these things hanging out there for a year, 2 years unsigned. It does tend to cause them to get wrapped up a little quicker. And then the condition that was offered as the condition of the rezoning was the restrictions on the use that was stated before, the marijuana businesses, pawn shops, homeless shelters and transitional housing, sexually oriented businesses, soup kitchens, food distribution centers, smoking lounges, and hookah lounges will be prohibited off of the normal B3 list. I believe those are all special land uses in the B3. So those would be prohibited in this case on the B3 property.
I move that we accept the conditional rezoning of PCZR 26-0004.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion by, I'm sorry, Goodman died. Seconded by Commissioner Griffin has been approved. Thank you so much.
Thank
To
you.
the chair,
Yes.
I'd like to acknowledge through the department the addition of item 2A with the time limit. I think that that's something that we haven't had before, and I think that that's a good move.
We're actually thinking of amending the ordinance to add it in as an actual just straight ordinance requirement, because when I first started here, there were hanging agreements that were approved, that weren't finalized, that were like 2 years old, and it took me a while to clean that up. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And if I add to that, we actually did submit a proposed rezoning agreement with
Yep.
the application, so we're well underway on that also.
yeah, that's the only thing we're asking for is draft agreements with the applications to make sure that we're already kind of ready to go when approved. We don't have that long period of drafting and back and forth revisions.
Thank you.
Okay. At this point, can we start at PSLU 26-0006, special land use public hearing, same site?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As noted, this is a special land use and site plan. There are 2 items. We'll have to kind of deal with them individually with resolutions, but I'm going to present the project once, and then we'll go through the approvals separately, as we usually do, just to avoid repetition. This is on the Northland Tower site. It's at that corner of Northland Drive and Greenfield. Would be the north east tower will be coming down. That's part of this, kind of impinges on this site a little bit. It is currently zoned RS. The conditional rezoning that you've just acted on is going to make that a B3 for the site. And they will be constructing and operating a gas station, particularly a Costco fuel station. They are looking for hours of operation of 6 a.m. I think we have it down as 10:30, but I think when I discussed this with Costco's representative, they were looking at possibly 6 to 10 as their hours of operation. So let me just make a note of that. We're discussing it earlier today. Only has a couple of employees there at any given time. As noted, we are looking at a regional shopping zone currently that is going to be rezoned to B3 general business, which is a required zoning for a fuel station. Future land use is downtown development district. And in this case, this would be the only gas station in the downtown district. As we noted before, just kind of for orientation, that you can see where the proposed Costco gas station is going to Northland and Greenfield. Now you can see how close the Costco Business Center is. It's literally like, it's not quite directly across the street, but it's pretty close. just down to the other end there. And that's partly that is like that because that Costco Business Center site is large. Like it extends quite a ways. As noted, the conditions on the site now with the towers. This is the site on the site plan on the left and the landscape plan on the right. As you can see, we did discuss like making sure we had a pedestrian connection from the sidewalk, which now we do have from Northland Drive. It runs down to by the ADA parking space and then can cross over. The bike racks are there as well. So we now do have that pedestrian access that goes to the building for employees. And we do have the pumps islands in the middle. We have some color renderings that are a little clearer in terms of orientation. And then on the right, you can see it's a pretty heavily landscaped proposal. And it does have the brick piers and fencing at the corners. And there's a little plaza up there in the right corner, which this is a little bit easier to read. So you can see that light gray on the left there, that's the canopy for the gas station. The light gray. Then the white building is there, the actual operations building. And then you can see the landscaping wrapped around. The stacking is all from the north. We do have a stacking plan as well. Top right just gives an elevation showing what that corner plaza with the brick piers and the fencing is going to look like with the landscaping. And then there's an overview of that little plaza up there at Northland and Greenfield. So it really will be carrying that language from the Northland Shopping Center right down onto this site. Over here, we just show the stack on the left is the stacking of the vehicles. The blue vehicles are at the pumps. The red vehicles are waiting. They're stacked waiting access to a pump. The plan on the right is just showing the truck turning temperature, how the tankers make their way in and out of the site. That's always something I look into because a poorly designed site, you can end up with tankers backing in off of major roads and a lot of weird shenanigans going on. In this case, that tanker has plenty of room to maneuver on and off this site. It's pretty generously proportioned. Elevations just showing how the fuel station looks from front and rear and side. There's the service building, elevations, pretty plain building, but you know, it's just there to provide the actual like equipment and support for the fuel station function and the emergency shutoffs. This is the building floor plan. As you can see, it's got a restroom for the employees. There's a sink there. It's a heated area, and then they've got like equipment that operate in the fuel station in here and sheltered. So it's their controller enclosure with restroom and break room. And the representative of Costco is here. I'll hand this over. They can do their presentation.
Good evening.
Thank you. And again, we'll need your name and your business address, and if you could speak loudly for us too, because of the microphones.
Sure. Larry Jurczek, representative from Costco Real Estate tonight. My address is 1955 Raymond Drive in Northbrook, Illinois, 60062.
Thank you.
Great. Tom, thank you for that introduction. It's a very nice summary of our proposal tonight. We did put together a slide presentation. I think Tom addressed the zoning, but I think I'll start with the site plan and we could get into more specifics. I know at our study session there were some questions about the streetscape, which Tom touched on. And I think we've improved upon, and with our graphics and exhibits, we've answered a lot of your questions that you had about how we're tying in with the residential development to the north. With me tonight, I have Scott Wilson. Scott is our Senior VP of Engineering with Kimley Horn. He's our project engineer as well. I don't think we have to go over the location. It is on the corner of Northland and Greenfield. It's about 2.33 acres. And as Mike Kennedy with Contour indicated, Costco is purchasing this property. We've touched on the zoning, the rezoning. Will have to happen prior to our special land use. So as I mentioned, we are under contract. We're very close to signing and inking a deal here. As Mike said, probably within the next week or so. But tonight we are asking for your approval for a special land use for the fuel facility, site plan, architectural, engineering, and landscape approvals.
Just want to clarify, they're making a recommendation on the special land use.
Correct. Only a recommendation, that's
Right.
correct. Yes, yeah. This is a overall site plan, how our gas fits in with contours, proposed concept. Keep in mind, it is a concept, and I believe Mike mentioned some of the users that they're looking at, but keep in mind that that existing building is going to remain, and we are tearing down the east building. North is to the right of the screen, not up. A little confusing here. There were some questions about the proximity of the warehouse or the business center to the gas. So here we shaded in where the facility is located. I had mentioned last time when we were together about the location of property. When we look at off-site gas, this is a very good location for us. We don't want to be too far away. We don't want to be miles down the road. Quarter mile, half mile, or less. That's what Costco's looking for. And that's why we really like this location at this intersection. Not too far away. Our employees could ride their bike or walk, which is ideal. Same site plan with just a aerial overlay showing the relationship. Here you could actually see that east building, and you can see why it needs to come down. The new proposed north-south driveway basically cuts right through that building. So a little more detail on the actual site plan itself. We're utilizing two existing curb cuts, one off of Northland Drive and one off of Greenfield. The one on Northland is going to be enhanced basically for a right in, left in, and a right out and a left out. So we're actually adding some lanes there on the east side, bisected by a median there. And we're opening it up so it's large enough for a field truck to come in. And that's what the striped area is there, to allow a field truck to turn in off of Northland. Our access to the fuel is from the south. So everybody is going to be entering the fuel facility from the south, basically coming down the north-south drive, coming around and queuing on the north side and exiting on the south side, and then making their way either to Greenfield or back around to Northland. We do have room for expansion, so the layout is a 4x4, so we have 16 pumps with room for an additional 4, and that would be on the east side. You can see they're ghosted in on the east side. As Tom mentioned, we do have a kiosk. We call it the fuel kiosk. That's sort of the brains in operation. That's where all the electric connections are made for the fuel facility. And there's a break room, office, and restroom in that building. And as Tom mentioned, we did provide a connection from Northland with the sidewalk. So now you can gain access. Keep in mind, this is for employees only. We wouldn't want the general public walking through. But it does terminate with some bike racks there, so easily accessible for our employees. And they would just have a short walk across the drive to the kiosk. A couple site features, as Tom mentioned, we're carrying some of those streetscape elements from the business center across Northland Drive. We're looking at the plaza, adding some seating features. We have a planter. We have a couple piers, some decorative fencing, and the architecture. Let's see, I think I have a slide here. Skipped over the landscape plan. I'll come back to that. But the architecture will match basically exactly what the business center and what Contour is doing to the north with their Northland shopping development. Some larger piers, they're lit up. We're adding a couple benches. Last we spoke, it sounded like that benches were important to the city, so we added a couple benches here. Nice landscaped, as Tom mentioned. There's quite a bit of landscaping around the perimeter of the property. And we're looking at saving some of the existing trees Many trees are not doing very well right now. They're basically dying. Some of the evergreens, so we're going to remove those and replace with shade, evergreen, shrub plantings, providing room for snow storage on the corners of the property, and then smaller foundation plantings around the canopy and around the kiosk. This is a larger detail of the plaza area, so we have 2 new sidewalks that basically terminate into this corner, and this will match what's happening further down Greenfield in Contourist Development. And the red is the decorative fence, and the white are the piers. A little bit about the stacking. So our traffic consultant, when we look at designing and determining how many fuel pumps, there's a lot of math involved. And we believe for the membership that this particular location has, and projecting out years from now, we'll be able to accommodate the level of demand at this location. And this is based on a lot of experience that we've had in the Michigan, Detroit metro area with projects. I believe we touched on a couple last time we spoke at Green Oak Township and Commerce Township, where we took smaller facilities and added additional pumps. It really does process vehicles faster. There's no queue, there's less pollution, less idling. So we're very comfortable with this layout. As Tom mentioned, the architecture is quite simple. It's just masonry block with a low horizontal metal canopy. All the pumps will be covered, so our members will not be exposed to the rain or snow, so everybody's protected. And the red light, green light indicator, which is on the lower right side on the bottom, as we mentioned before, that's really a nice feature that we have with our newer fuel facilities that indicates which lanes are open and which pumps are closed. So we'll actually give you an idea when you pull up, the car in front of you is red, but maybe the pump is open, so that would be green. So you could drive around. And that leads me to the next slide about spacing. This will be one of our newer standard fuel facilities with adequate spacing for the bypass lane. I believe it's almost 11 feet 8 inches in the middle, and adequate pumping lanes, so you can easily get around cars, get between cars to get through, to get to that next pump. And the elevation on the bottom shows you a typical spacing, that there's plenty of room when you're gassing and when you're basically getting gas. How would you get around a car that just basically pulled up in front of you? Plenty of room. Thank you. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. This would be an opportunity, again, we have public hearing. If anyone is interested in making comment about this from the public, this would be the opportunity to do so. And yes, and if you could, sir, could you? And give us your name and your business address again.
Sure. I am Molly Lalone. I'm the Executive Director for the Southfield Downtown Development Authority. Our office is located at 18,000 West 9 Mile Road in Southfield. This site plan was not reviewed separately from the entire property, but we did know that Costco was going in when we were reviewing it, and we are in favor of the Costco gas station being added. And as was mentioned before, this will be the first gas station that is in the district itself.
Thank you. Seeing no one else for public comment opportunity is now closed. Thank you so much. Mr. Payson.
Through the chair, did have one question. For the employees assigned to the gas station, will they have to clock in at the warehouse, or will they have a time machine to clock in at the gas station?
I believe it's at the warehouse.
Okay.
Yes.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I might have brought this up last time, but Your lot is isolated from the entrance and ingress egress. So one of the conditions would be a cross-access easement agreement, would be a condition of approval. You'd have to provide a cross-access to get to your property from Contour's property.
Oh, correct. Off of Northland, for example?
Either Northland or Greenfield.
Or Greenfield.
So we would require a cross-access easement as a condition of approval of your site. I didn't see it specifically in the notes, but I wanted to bring it up.
Right. Sure.
The surrounding parcel around this is going to be a proposed condominium, so there would be a common element, which will be the access drives.
Well, one way or the other, we'll either need the condominium document showing that or a cross-access easement.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I know you don't have the same design standards as Northland, but is there any way that you could incorporate some of the complementary colors to your Costco Business Center? Like, everything looks like a gray or a stark white. Is there any way to pick up some of the red tones from the Costco and some of the grays? Just, again, it
Terry,
doesn't have to be mid-century modern, but
Yeah.
I think if you add those colors in to your building and the canopy columns, it just would tie the two together.
I think our renderings got a little washed out, Terry, but we do try to tie back to the warehouse. So the colors of the block of the warehouse.
So if you could, Tom, go back.
See, when you slide back to.
Like, see, this looks like a washed out gray.
It does, yeah.
And then
yeah.
in the building, there was some elevations of the building.
Where is that? Just go back a ways. I don't think we had elevations of the Northland.
There was a elevation, there. Keep,
Yeah,
one more.
next one.
Keep going.
Yeah, and the next one.
There was just the elevation of the building there. I don't know which slide that is.
Yeah, I don't think we have an elevation of the Costco building in here.
No.
There,
Of the,
one
there,
back, upper right.
the Costco fuel station building.
That,
Yeah.
There it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, great.
I just happened to be taking some photos there yesterday of the building and your landscaping and piers, just to have it as comparison. And again, you don't have to match the actual materials, but if you could incorporate some of the colors from the Costco Business Center, I think it just ties both projects together.
I totally agree, Terry. We can do that. We
So
absolutely
before
can.
you come back
Yeah.
for council, if you could give us updated renderings,
Sure.
that'd be great. Those are my only two comments. I'm in favor of the project. I especially, as a designer, having the streetscape elements tie in with Northland, over time, over the next decade, as these get built out, everything will look unified. And that's why I wanted the fuel center to at least complement the business center, at least in color and tone. Because everything else ties it in together.
thank you. Then, commissioners, let me start with Commissioner Griffith. Any questions?
No, just a comment. So generally in the city of Southfield, I'm against gas stations because we have too many of them. And I still am. But this is different because the reason I'm so against all the gas stations we have in Southfield is they're too small sites, they're too congested, they're just dangerous to maneuver. This is very large, this is well planned out, this has extra space. And it's also been stated there's really no gas stations anywhere near this big development at Northland. So again, for the success of the entire project, you have to have complementary things that people need, like gas stations. This seems a very appropriate place for it. It's, like you said, close enough to the existing business center to make sense. So for all those reasons, I would be in favor of this particular gas station on this particular site.
Thank you.
Commissioner Martin.
For the building that you have for the employees, this is going to sound crazy, but people waiting in line for gas sometimes have to go to the laboratory. You don't have laboratory access?
We do not. No public restrooms, no. No.
I understand,
Yeah.
Come back next time.
but being an older person, knowing, sitting in someplace waiting in line, you don't control your body in that way, shape, or form anymore.
Right, right.
And that's something that needs to be considered, not only here, but most gas stations, because most gas stations don't have a public restroom.
It's interesting you say that. We have 672 gas stations in North America, 672, and there's not one public restroom, not one. So I guess before you got in line, you could always use the warehouse, the business center. You could always,
I understand that, and I mean, I do, and
right.
I just can't say how it makes me feel. Thank you.
I'm jotting down a note.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Stevens.
Good escape plans.
Well, first of all, again, thank you to Costco for investing in our community. And with 672 existing gas stations, I think you know what you're doing.
We do, thank you.
Commissioner Bernuti.
Yes, thank you. I frequent the one in Commerce, and the remodeling and everything, it's so nice, because the aisles, as you said, are wider. I could never get around a car that was still gassing up. So I really, really think that this is going to be such an asset to Southfield. How many employees will you need out there, to help? I notice that there's always employees out there.
At the gas? Well, we have always a minimum of one employee, but during the holidays or during the weekends, we could have 2 to 3. It just depends. It just depends.
If you'll consider a Southfield employee, we'd appreciate it.
I'm assuming that most employees at the warehouse are Southfield
I don't know.
residents.
I hope so.
I don't know what the percentage is, but in order to be a gas attendant, you have to be certified. And there's actually training that they go through in terms of safety, CPR, things of that nature. Accidents, although I don't believe I've heard of an accident at a Costco gas station. We keep our field facilities clean, up to code, in pristine condition, so.
Okay, and what is the time frame that you will need to get this done? How long would it take?
Well, good question. We're under negotiation with Contour. We are looking at starting probably late summer of next year, and it's about a 3 to 4 month construction schedule. So our goal would be to get the paving done before it gets too cold out, before the asphalt plants close. Our goal would be a week or so before Thanksgiving, before the Thanksgiving holiday. We would like this open.
It's
Thank
next
you.
year?
Looking forward to it.
Next year,
That was next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
2027. Right.
Good.
Commissioner Goodwin, Doug.
Well, I'm just so happy that you're coming, because it's on my way to work, and I won't have to go all the way out to Livonia. So, I'm very much in favor of this, and I'm glad that it's the only one in this area. Okay, because like, my brother, Commissioner down here said, we have way too many gas stations in Southfield. And I'm hoping that this will be the only one. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have a question, well, not a question, a statement. You are the gas station that's not asking to sell alcohol. And so that has been something we've been addressing over the last few years, and so that's refreshing. And I'm going to assume grab-and-go food, you're not selling that either.
No, there's no retail sales.
Okay.
No convenience store whatsoever.
Just gas.
Just
Just
gas.
gas, okay.
So bad.
So through the chair, Larry, this will probably come up at council, so I'm going to ask it now. EV charging stations, either at the fuel center or at the Costco Business Center, are there any plans to install that?
Yeah, Terry, no plans at this time for EV, no.
Okay, so recently, as of Monday night, they just approved a Kroger fuel station at Evergreen and 12, and that question did come up, and that was made a condition of approval. So I'm laying it out there for you. I know what your plans are now, but I would just have a plan B in case it comes up at council, because I believe it will. It has come up, and we have had a lot of our smaller independent gas stations who've made improvements install them. So just, for what it's worth, just be prepared to answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, any further questions? Anybody?
Well, I want to ask, now that you have so many gas stations, you must have a reason why you don't want to put electrical charging stations. I'm guessing financial, or there's not a demand for it?
It's the demand. No, it's
Okay.
not financial. No, it's the demand. So our Costco operation group is also our EV charging group. I mean, we do have EV chargers throughout the country. Just nothing has been planned for this area, but they are looking at it. But the last time I spoke to the gas operation group, the demand wasn't there. The demand wasn't there. They know exactly how many EV chargers or cars, are in the area. Not only Southfield, but in the general area, elsewhere. But I'm basically telling you what was told to me at this point. No plans for EV.
That brought up a question for me, too. Good to you. I'm going to assume the pumps you have now would not be convertible. I know we're talking about going to EVs, and if we suddenly had a rash of EVs, what would you wind up doing? Would you have to kind of abandon it or reduce your operations, or would you be able to convert?
Chair, are you talking about eliminating gas sales and going to total 100% EV? Well,
hypothetical, but
yeah, that would not work. Okay. That would be a total reconstructed facility. I mean, we couldn't just transfer from petroleum from gas to electric. There may be a possibility of putting chargers at the business center. But as I mentioned, that's not in the plans right now. And Costco has invested a lot of money in different cities throughout North America in gas, and that's what we're investing in. And EV is kind of taking, a second step below that. So we firmly believe that gas is still the future, at least for our business. And that's what we've been discussing for several years with the gas and EV group. But so right now, Costco's in the business of selling gas.
Understood. Thank you. Commissioners?
Just as a point of information, are you involved with the I forgot the name of the street, with the possible Costco wholesaler?
The Galleria?
Yeah, the Galleria.
Oh, the Galleria?
Yeah.
I was involved, yes.
Okay, just as a point of information, about half a mile up from there, the Comerica Chase Bank put in a charging station there, and they have, I think, 4 or 6 charging stations. Mm-hmm. They're full 24 hours a day, just as a point.
The gas station at the southwest corner of 12th Telegraph also has 6 or 8 charging stations, and they seem to be full all the time.
Yeah.
And so again, the question could come up.
Sure.
I see realistically, if you were going to put them in, you put them at the business center, but maybe just take a second look at it.
We will. I'll have this conversation tomorrow with our group. Absolutely.
And they're also going in next door to Verizon on Telegraph, charging station there. So they're picking it up.
Again, commissioners, any further questions? With that, Mr. Payson.
Let me just, I gotta kind of zip down here to the end of the presentation. We'll get there in a sec. I'll find it. Here we go. We do have a recommended resolution on the special land use. We are recommending a positive recommendation.
We do find that it does meet the general standards for special land use in the B3. Proposed use is sufficient size and character, appropriate harmony. I'm not going to go through all these in detail, but these are the standards. It is the location, size, and intensity of operation is suitable, wouldn't cause a nuisance to adjacent properties. It's in accord with the spirit and purpose of the chapter, not inconsistent or contrary with the objectives of the chapter or the principles of sound planning. Designed in such a way that it shouldn't have a vehicular traffic detrimental impact, should not produce or elevate harms from noise, dirt, dust, fumes, or odors, not adverse to promotion of health, safety, and welfare of the community. In a couple of conditions, proposed use must be designed and operated to provide security and safety to the employees and general public. I think with the revisions and the walkways, we've met that. Recommendation is based on the documents, facts, representations, and stipulations submitted with the application placed on the record during the public hearing by the petitioner or the representatives. And we have a few conditions. One, subject to the conditional rezoning of the property from Regional Center to Regional Center B3 by the City Council, subject to the site plan, which we're going to cover next, as approved by the Planning Commission. Petitioner to implement recommendations by Southfield Police Crime Prevention Bureau. Continuous compliance with all applicable codes, ordinance, laws, statutes. All work to be performed under plans, permits, and inspections by the city. And gas station hours, it is correct on the resolution here. I just didn't update it on the data sheet. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. is the desired hours of operation.
And
Tom,
then
I'm sorry, Terry.
go ahead.
Could you elaborate on C, 9C?
Yeah, that is basically, the police department was involved in the review of your site plan. They didn't have any additional recommendations. Usually that means if there's an issue at the site, our Crime Prevention Bureau will come out and meet with you, talk about that, and go over strategies for trying to address those issues. Okay. It really is that you'll cooperate with the police department and crime prevention at your site, should there be issues. We've had sites where a dumpster enclosure had to be relocated because it was providing a way for the people to get easily on the roof of a building.
I see.
That sort of thing. The police officer will walk out and go, oh yeah, I see the problem. They're getting on the roof from the top of the dumpster enclosure because it's a one-story building. It's that sort of thing. They've just, they go over the after action when there's crimes in the city, and they kind of take apart like, well, what contributed to that crime that's a physical layout issue. In your case, because you have so much experience with these and they're manned when they're open, less of an issue. I'm sure if there were likely crime issues, you've probably seen them before, since you have 670 of these, and have responded to them in your designs. Sometimes it just comes down to sight lines, visibilities, lighting, and locations, but they are part of our site plan review process, and they seem satisfied with the design as presented.
Okay, thank you.
But it really, we just have that as a standard where if there's a problem, we expect you to cooperate with the police department to solve it, which is usually in the property owner's interest. So it's usually not much of an ask.
No, thank you for explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add the additional condition, which would be F, about providing a cross-access easement. And then G would be to have complementary colors to the existing Costco Business Center. And we'll make sure those are incorporated in the recommendation to City Council.
And commissioners are ready for a motion? Commissioner Griffiths.
It should be cross-access easements or condo documents providing general
Either
condo
way.
elements, yeah. Or condo docs, and then the EFG revised elevations. Got it, okay.
I'd like to make a favorable recommendation with the additional 2 conditions just mentioned by the Planning Department for a favorable recommendation on PSLU 26-0006.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Griffiths, seconded by Commissioner Bernuti. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? Motion passed. Last item, PSP 26-0015. This is a site plan review.
As noted, that we've gone over all the site plan issues, but we do have a recommended resolution. We are recommending approval of the site plan, and it's the usual criteria, appearance, coordination with adjacent sites, drainage, pedestrian circulation, public services are adequate, site design characteristics are well
considered, vehicular circulation is well designed. Once again, the resolution is based on the representations that have been made in the application and the presentations. Few conditions, subject to approval of the conditional rezoning by the city council, subject to approval of the special land use by the city council, site and building to be developed consistent with revised plans as presented, prepared by Kim and Horn. Petitioner to implement recommendations of the Police Crime and Prevention Bureau as needed. Continuous compliance with all applicable ordinances, codes, laws, and statutes. All work to be performed under plans, permits, and final inspections approved by the city of Southfield. We could add the two conditions again.
But they're covered by the PSLU.
Yeah, I think so.
We're fine.
Because it does say you have to comply with the PSLU, so as long as the council approves of those conditions, it would be binding anyway.
Okay. And with that,
To the chair,
Commissioner Martin.
I do have two issues with the site plan for the dumpster enclosure, for their office area. They have exits to go outside for an employee to go to the laboratory and then outside to go to the break room. To me, it would make more sense for the employee not to have to go outside to go to either room, to have the rooms connected. You have the wall between the break room and the laboratory. The laboratory has the water facilities on the inside wall, and then the break room is on the other side of the wall, but you have to go outside to go to it. They should be connected so that the employee wouldn't have to go inside two different doors to.
Yep, I understand your question, right. So from the break room, you have to go outside to get to the restroom.
Correct.
Yeah, this is our standard kiosk, and this is what we're proposing. Yeah, I don't believe we want that connection from the inside. I mean, I could revisit it, but I don't think we're going to be providing a door from the break room to the restroom directly.
The only reason I say that is if you only have one or two employees in there. If you have one employee in there, that one employee is outside exposed to everybody instead of being inside in a secure area the whole time.
Oh, so you're saying that he has to, okay. He's got to leave the break room to get to the restroom, go outside.
Exactly. You got to go outside to go into either the break room or to the laboratory instead of having them in a more secure environment inside for both the connection for the two rooms. I mean, I understand you say that's what you have, but
Right.
It's not a secure setup to me.
Well, that's a very interesting question. I wish I had a better architectural answer for you, but I don't. I've done quite a few of these, and we've always had that restroom with the door directly leading you outside. You would have to leave the break room to get to the restroom. It could be just due to the size of, with the clearance of the door. It's not a large building. The restroom is quite small. So I don't know if we could get everything to work with, appropriate ADA clearances.
Well,
That could be.
it's an inside, I can understand the water closet being on the inside wall, and to have a connection between the two, you'd have to move it to the opposite side. But it just makes more sense to me to be able to stay inside, to go from the break room to the laboratory and to the rest of the facility that you have there, because you have one other door on the opposite side of the building. For the other area, you have
The electrical room.
The electric?
access, yeah.
Yeah.
But having, it just, I understand that's what you have, but that doesn't make it the best possible situation. That's all.
Well, like I said, we have several hundreds.
Yeah.
Just like this, and they work perfectly fine. So that's my answer to you tonight.
I understand.
That they do work quite well. But I'm sure there's an architectural reason why we don't have that connection as well. I wish I had it for you, but it could be because of the size. I mean, looking at the opening of the door, it's quite a large door. There could be a reason for clearance to the restroom. It's not a very large restroom.
And wet walls are typically on interior walls to avoid pipe freezing. And that there's a shared wet wall between the restroom and the break room on the interior wall. Given how small the building is, it would be hard. There's nowhere to put, because you have a toilet, a urinal, and a sink. If you just had the toilet and the sink and didn't have the urinal, maybe you could get an interior door in there. But with the three, and then the opposite on the break room, you've got a sink on that counter.
On the back wall, you have a seat corner. I can't make this out.
Well,
But
I mean, it's a good observation. We're not
Yeah,
going to
it's just-
redesign
yeah.
it right now. Larry, maybe just go back
Yeah.
to ask your architect and be able to answer a little bit better at the council. Should it come-
I can do that, yes.
Through the chair,
Commissioner?
I'd like to propose that we accept the favorable recommendation for the site plan titled PSP 26-0015.
If I may, I'd like to hold that in abeyance. I don't know if we've asked the commissioners if they had any questions at this point.
No.
Okay, then, yes, I would like to take your motion. With-
Support.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Gunn, supported by Commissioner Martin, I think. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then it has been passed unanimously, and I thank you so much. It looks like we are approved, so good luck before council.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all your comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next item. Resolution of support, the Transportation Alternative Program, TAP.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce the next two items as one presentation. As you are aware, providing non-motorized pathways in the city has been one of our charges, making it more pedestrian-friendly, more bike-friendly, more accessible at our bus stops for residents, students, and business people to get around without getting in a car. And this is a map that I put together showing all the different regional pathway network in southeast Michigan. And our 9-line project actually transects a few of these or provides us access to hundreds of miles of trails. So number 2 on the regional map is the proposed 9-line corridor. And as I said, it bisects the I-275 Metro Trail, downriver link greenways. There will be a connection to the Joe Louis Greenway via Livernois. And then on the west side of the city, there'll be some connections to the Michigan Airline Trail through various links in Novi, Northville, South Lyon. I've presented this before. We're in partnership with all the South Oakland County communities. There's 10 of us. Phase 1 included Hazel Park, Ferndale, Oak Park, Southfield, Farmington Hills. And then our neighbors to the west, Novi, Northville, Lyon Township, and South Lyon wanted to join our corridor. And now we have 10 communities that have a memorandum of understanding to develop a regional bike path, shared use pathway connecting Hazel Park and I-75 to the western boundary of Oakland County. Southfield has been taking the lead on developing their 6 linear miles. This is a brochure that we prepared for the National Planning Conference, and it shows the various phases of development. On the western part of our community, from Beach to Inkster, we have 2 bike lanes on the north and south side of the community, and then we have various bike routes in shared use pathways under development or fully funded for future development that will link Beechwoods Park and Bowervik Woods Park with our partners at Oakland Community College to develop 3 trailheads for not only residents but for visitors from the surrounding neighborhood. As you know, we've been fully developing out the City Center Trail, and via the Northwestern Highway, the City Center Trail bisects the 9 line. So the dashed green line is just wrapping up construction from Greenfield to the M10, M39 interchange. That'll be completed by the end of this year. And then we are funded to take that segment from M10, M39 to Greenfield, tear up the 5-foot sidewalk and put in a 10-foot wide compliant non-motorized trail, which is shown in the inset there of how the city center bisects the 9 line and connects to the Beechwoods Shiawassee trail that was put in a couple years ago. So we've been building out our network within the city and then connecting to our regional partners. These are been a very successful approach to receiving funding from transportation enhancement funds. These are the various segments that have been funded. As I stated, the purple will break ground next year. It's going out to bid this winter and hopefully will be completed by the end of next year. And then the yellow section is the proposed 2028 TAP grant application, which is due September 30th. Council just authorized us to submit for the application. It's about a $4.5 million project. We're applying for 80% of it through the MDOT TAP grant. We're hoping to get the remaining 20% from the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. And then the city has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on engineering, but we have an 80% engineered plan, so we're about shovel ready. These are some of the other future connections. Ultimately, we'd like to have the 9 line and the City Center Trail tie in with Northland's perimeter trail network, and then connect to Providence Hospital as well as Oakland Community College and the neighborhoods to the south of 9 line. In 2024, we receive a technical assistance grant to study the economic benefits or the baseline community assessment of how trails can benefit a community. And this particular assessment looked at the 9 line from M39, M10 interchange to Greenfield and the neighborhoods to the north and south. The bottom line is they determined that there would be a benefit cost ratio of 7.39 for every dollar that is invested in the trail, which is astronomical rate of return. If you get 1 for 1, you break even. If you get 2 for 1, you're doing really good. To have a 7.39 rate of return for your investment is, as I said, astronomical. The city has invested over $22 million to date along the 9 line. It's a benefit to disadvantaged communities. It provides enhanced safety. It's determined that there'll be a reduction of 39,000 vehicle miles per year by people walking and riding their bike once this is fully developed. And that equates to 4 less fatalities and 14 less ped cyclist injuries from collisions with vehicles. It enhances connectivity. We estimate new annual pedestrian trips at 64,000, new annual bicycle trips at about 11,000. Reduction of CO2 emissions, non-CO2 congestion, noise, and operating costs equate to enhanced air quality. The annual health benefits are close to $600,000, reducing obesity, heart-healthy activity. Property values will increase adjacent to the path of $1.6 million, and then very minimal maintenance and operation costs. And our challenge here, as I've affectionately called, is the Golden Spike Project. We have the Transcontinental Railroad, if you think about it, coming in from both sections. We'll have the pathways develop right up to this pinch point of crossing M39 and M10. And currently, we have barely a 4-foot wide sidewalk with deteriorating concrete, barriers, inhospitable environment, very noisy. Someone that's riding their bike from either direction basically has to stop and walk their bike through here or take their chances of getting injured going through these sections. We have overpasses, underpasses, and even some other challenges with widening the pathway to make this ASHTO compliant. So there's 3 major sections of this development to cross this about 1,000 square feet, linear feet. There will be a freestanding truss bridge, as depicted in the lower right, that will cross the M10 area. Then it'll switch back to the bridge. The bridge would be extended 4 to 6 feet to accommodate the required width. And then we have the underpass. So we're asking tonight to you to endorse a resolution of support that will be included in the TAP grant. Ms. Molly Malone is here from the DDA. They have given us a resolution of support. I'm going to ask her to make a few comments of why this is important, not only to the city, but specifically to their DDA district. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Hello, I'm Molly Lalone from the Southfield Downtown Development Authority. Do you need to am I doing a public comment thing where I have to say my address? Okay. Yes, we did send in a letter of support for this project, and I'm very excited that the 9 line is going across the entire width of our district. And this particular part is the unsafe part, separating the rest of Southfield from this district. So this is going to open up and make people feel safe to travel across the freeways and to come to our district, where Northland City Center is, where we have other development happening. OCC, because of this trail, they're talking about everyone has to do a public art project or invest in public art. Well, they are excited about this and are trying to figure out how they can incorporate public art along the 9 line that is associated with the school. There's a lot of excitement that happens because of alternative pathways like this. So we're in favor.
In addition, we've received $420,000 from Access to Transit by Oakland County. We received a grant for construction engineering from the Regional Transit Authority of over $100,000. We recently just found out Friday that we received another $200,000 grant from the county to continue making improvements at bus stops and accessibility. So we have a long history of development of non-motorized pathways in the city. We've been aggressive in applying for funding. We have been very successful in the funding because we've had the master planning, we've had the public input, we've had the engineering, and we've had the resolve and support of City Council to fund our portion of this, and we've been implementing, and we have a good track record. And all those things that Ms. Lalone has stated, it's part of their strategic Downtown Development Authority plan. Our partners with the hospital, Oakland Community College, the connections between the DDA and the city center, the connections with the municipal campus, Lawrence Tech University. It's just over a mile and a half, and we now have these pathways that just open up our community to the regional network. And with the work that's been recently awarded for 9-line signage, art, placemaking, trailheads, kiosk that will be continue to be developed over the next 6 months. We are leading the entire quarter, and we are setting an example for our neighbors of how to get things done. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We continue to bring updates to you as we continue to develop our plans, but we appreciate your support. We want to make sure that the public is aware of all the things that we're doing, and be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioners? Then I have a couple of questions. You used an expression to be AASHTO compliant. Could you tell us what AASHTO is?
Yeah, as soon as I said that acronym, it's it's the American Society of Transportation.
Highway transportation officials.
Transportation, those are all the standards that we're required to meet with federally funded and state-funded jobs. So it says pathway's got to be 10 feet wide. You have to have 2 foot of clearance on either side. It has to be accessible. It has to be designed in a certain standard. So in order for us to get the funding, we have to do a compliant design.
Through the chair? I think the department has been very, very successful in what they have done as it relates to their request for our support. I think that their plans for their future plans for the 9-line, what is it, 9-line project is beneficial, and it's going to benefit our community. I'm in full support of us resolving to support these 2 items.
I'm fully in compliance with you. I fully agree. Commissioners, any other comment?
No, none other than it's just amazing how much you've done in this period of time. I was just passing by 11 Mile, and I see you have a thing there next to the airplane. I see you got that finished as well. I can say nothing but good things about what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Commissioner Gunn, can we hear a motion?
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
To the chair, I issue a motion to support the resolution of support for both item for fiscal year 2028 Transportation Alternative Program grant application for the 9-mile pathway M10, M39 Bridge Gap Crossing Project, and the resolution of support for Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation grant application for the 9-mile pathway M10, M39 Bridge Gap Crossing Project.
And I second that.
That was a mouthful.
That's
Thank you very much.
And I support
Second.
that. Thank you.
So motion by Commissioner Gunn, supported by Commissioner Bernuti. I'm going to have a better day tomorrow. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
Yep, so you basically rolled into one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both resolutions. So just for the public, this is the second resolution that you supported. Now, the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, I just want to mention, they have kind of a 2-step approach. We do a preliminary application, they review it. If they feel that we're worthy, then they invite us to submit a formal application. Okay. They typically will provide 20% match if it's the final to get you over across the hurdle. So the timing of this is we will apply for the fiscal year 28 TAP grant, and if we're successful, then we would apply for that remaining 20%. But in the meantime, it gives us the ability to do a preliminary application to hear them out to see if they are giving, will be willing to give us support. And we'll continue to look for other funding opportunities, because as I said, 4.6 million is a lot for one community to handle when it's going to be a benefit for the entire region.
But you also have been successful with these in the past.
Yes, but they've been in the $1 million to $1.5 million range. To date, I believe we have 9 letters of support from our regional partners and elected officials, and we're going to continue to beat the path with that. But again, I appreciate your support, and we will continue to bring you updates as we progress on this project.
Yeah, but just note, we weren't concerned that maybe this was too big of an ask for the MDOT TAP grant, but we met with the MDOT staff, and we went over the project with them and where we were in terms of developing the design engineering. And they were like, no, it's potentially, given the nature of this project and the fact that it's costing 2 of their highways, and those are their bridges, they didn't think it was unrealistic. They're like, otherwise they would have told us, like, don't bother, we're never going to give a grant that big. They're like, no, in this case, maybe, yeah. And I think they were pleasantly surprised we actually had 80% design done. Like, they don't usually get that we have like an almost shovel-ready situation.
Okay. Then I thank you. Next item, review of draft minutes.
We do have the minutes for July 8th study meeting, the joint meeting on the 20th with the council, and the July 29th regular meeting transcript that we do need any action on, if possible, approval if the commission is ready.
Do we have those?
To the chair,
Yes. Commissioner Martin.
motion to approve the July 8th Planning Commission study meeting draft minutes, the July 29th Planning Commission regular meeting minutes, and having no comments, I assume, the July 20th City Council Planning Commission joint meeting minutes.
May I hear a second?
Second?
Been moved by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Gunn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next item is public comment. The floor is open for any public comment. I see no members of the public before us, nor do I see names on the sign-in sheet. With that, I will close opportunity for public comment. Mr. Penzon, council item update.
Just a few items that were council acted on Monday. The 2700 Losser Bank Reuse Renovation Project was approved, the special land use. The conditional rezoning and the special land use for the Kroger fuel station were also approved. We got to work through a couple little conditions and some plan revisions with them, but we had a meeting with them today, and they seemed willing to do everything we needed them to do. Authorization of the TAP grant application and the Ralph C. Wilson grant application that Terry just discussed were approved by the council. So we need authorization to apply for grants, particularly those that require matches, because council has to agree to pay those matches, otherwise it's not a thing. And then we had a authorization of an OHM contract for the final design engineering of that gap crossing. But they're going to really get down to that details in the preparing bid documents. And then we also had authorization to install the native plant mural on the south wall of the municipal building. That was also approved. Did I include visuals for that in here? Hold on. No, we didn't include visuals for that in here. It's a really attractive multi-panel native plants mural. It's going to go on the south side of the building, kind of on the, the butterflies on one side, the other side of the entrance to the building department. Those 3 panels are going to have this multi-panel color mural on them. We just want to let you know that's been approved, so that's supposed to be on this fall. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't include a visual in it.
I was going to ask, once you wrap up, maybe we can switch really quick to my city center PowerPoint or council
Yeah.
PowerPoint. I can show you.
What it looked like.
This would probably be.
Should have included that slide in here, but I think it's because you weren't voting on it, that's why I didn't include a slide of it, because it's just a council update, but if Terry wants to share it, we can get it real quick. And that was pretty much it. We got miscellaneous, September 9th, we got a regular meeting, or sorry, it's a study meeting, never mind. The 16th is a long-range study meeting, and that is recommended for cancellation. We don't have any items for that agenda. September 30th, we're gonna have a regular meeting. We have one land use case and 3 zoning amendments we're gonna talk about next month. So, I guess while Terry's getting that up, we could. Are you done? Yeah, other than we just need an action on the cancellation of the long-range study.
Through the chair? Through the chair?
Yes.
I think that the commission should accept the recommendation of canceling the planning commission long-range study meeting dated September 16, 2026.
Support.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Gunn and seconded by Commissioner Martin. All approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Then that motion has passed. Thank you.
To the chair. May I ask,
Oh, there you go.
do we have an update on the project status? A summary was putting status of all the projects we've done.
We are going to be starting to release those. We're going to update them at the end of every month and release them to the Planning Commission and City Council in the first week of every month. Alex is working on the update, so you should see something after the 31st. We decided just
After
easier, like at
September
the end, like the end of the month, we'll update all of those, and then we'll release that document within a couple of days it'll go to the Planning Commission, the City Council, City Administration, Economic Development, and any other department that might have an interest in it.
Yeah, so you'll be able to have comments or anything by the meeting on the 9th.
And Alex, you went back about 18 months, right? Yeah, so there was a lot of work in getting it first
Oh, yeah.
established, and then after that, we can keep it updated.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention also that they've started working on the lot for Plum Hollow, and there was another place I went by, and they started work on that too.
Well, I can tell you that the foundation permit was granted for the Plum Hollow Market, but the rest of the building was on hold until they received their zoning board of appeal waivers, which was just granted last week. But I'm glad to see that moving forward as well.
There were some minor site plan corrections we needed from them before we could finalize their site plan, but we signed off on the total approved site plan about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they also have done some of the concrete work, and they're digging, well, they appear to be working on the pit for the oil change on the Southfield Road.
Yeah, I drove by there today.
Yeah.
Before I show you this, the annual softball game between the police department and fire department is happening this Sunday on the new LTU ball field, so they'll be the first ones using that. I believe it begins at 4 p.m. Tickets are $10, but if you're in town and you want to see the ball fields, you want to see them being used, that would be a good opportunity. So this is the location outside of the Public Services Building. This is on the other end or the eastern end of our building facing south from where our Angel Wing mural is. And then this is the proposed native plantings. These are all Michigan native plantings. Our muralist, Janelle Miller. This is the concept design. There'll be a little bit of tweaking. Council approved the authorization of installing this on a public building Monday night. It'll go to the City Center Board. They're meeting in September for financial approval. There is money in their budget to do projects like this. And then it'll go to the Arts Commission the third Tuesday in September for their approval of the design. And then after that, she'll install it sometime this fall, weather permitting. But I wanted to, make you aware. One of the things that I thought was kind of neat, when I took her around to show her other projects, she incorporated the monarch butterfly statue, she incorporated the bumblebee, she incorporated the goldfinch mural. So she's got little subtle tributes within her design to some of the other work that we've done here in the city center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes. Is that the motion to adjourn?
that is a motion to adjourn.
Granted.